So we randomly selected some questions. The question number one, actually we got this a lot over the summer. What is the main cause of all the rain and flooding that we had over the summer? With the exception of the tornadoes that were frequent this summer, the big weather story this summer, no doubt, the amount of rain that we had, and some pretty significant flooding, neighborhood flooding, highway flooding, and things like that.
And it's kind of related to the tornadoes as well. It was just such a humid summer. That was the big issue. So much humidity in the air. And you might remember, it wasn't a very hot summer either.
No, in fact, we barely got to 90 at all at the airport in Warwick. It was a weather pattern that favored, as you mentioned, extremely high humidity. It was a warm summer, but it was not the hot, dry summer where we've had heat waves, dry air and temperatures that were in the 90s. There was so much moisture in the air that it didn't take much to squeeze that out into some pretty heavy, like slow-moving thunderstorms and rain.
And we had a frequent, like little sparks in the atmosphere, those little pieces of energy that came on by and created those heavy rainstorms. And the reason why we had so much flooding is because there was so much humidity in the air, number one. Number two, our storm drains aren't meant to handle 8, 12, 15 inches of rain in just a matter of hours. I mean, nowhere in the country can handle that.
And one of the highway floodings that we had over the summer, the radar was estimating 8, 9 inches of rain in a 2-3 hour period. So you're talking about 2, 3, 4 months worth of rain in 2 to 3 hours, and obviously the drainage system can't handle that. Also, these events occurred over urban areas, okay? Asphalt, concrete, cement. Take that same complex of heavy rain and put it in a rural area where there's more soil. You still get flooding, but it's not of the magnitude of where it's in an urban area where rain is coming down on top of concrete. It doesn't get absorbed, it runs off, and as you mentioned, these storm drains just can't handle it.
It was like Cranston was one of those areas, Providence on Valley, was it Valley Branch Avenue, up in Attleborough. A lot of areas where there is a lot of cement, as you mentioned.
And we know these areas so well that when our weather team is forecasting flooding rain and heavy rain, we already go to these neighborhoods before the rain starts because we know that there is some drainage issues in the storm drain issues in some of those neighborhoods where they can't handle that amount of rain.
And I mentioned it's kind of related to the tornadoes as well. High humidity is typically what you need for a tornado, and a lot of what we call low-level wind shear, where the winds are two different directions, two different speeds, gives a little twist in the atmosphere. With that extra humidity in the air this year, and that's why we saw these tornadoes. And it was a very unusual summer for tornadoes.
You talked about high humidity, and in tornado situations, we need the cloud base of the thunderstorm to be quite low. And with high humidity, you can get that low cloud base. You have the cloud bases, the bottom of the cloud is much higher, that the chances of tornadoes are low. So humidity, as you just mentioned, really played a huge factor in what we saw over the summer.
And that, I know you toured the area on Byron Randall Road in Scituate. I live in Scituate, so I still, every once in a while, will drive up that road and look at the
scars.
Damage. It is just, I've never seen such a concentrated area of damage from any storm in Rhode Island's history. I mean, yeah, obviously the 38 Hurricane Carol, but this was so concentrated. The whole neighborhood was just leveled.
I agree. And you and I have lived here all our lives, born and raised, and I feel the same exact way. When I turned that corner on that side road and just saw that entire landscape that looked like something out of a movie or something out of Texas, hard to believe that happened here. And the fact that we had the frequency, you get a tornado every now and then, but to get multiple tornado touchdowns, not just in Rhode Island, but in Connecticut and Long Island that summer was incredible. There'll be weather studies done on this for many, many years to come.
And we had that one a little bit later on this summer in Scituate, Gloucester, too. So, it was a busy year for tornadoes and flooding.